Irish guy, and right, so this video will probably cause you to chew off your own teeth, because right now, I'm about to personally insult one of your club's favourites, right? I'm going to pick one player from every Premier League club who will surprisingly have a pretty wet pudding season by their own standards. Someone who is just going to disappoint. So go on then, go on, tell me I'm wrong in the comment section below. Tell me that not only do I have a voice sounding like Sabrina the Teenage Witch, but I've also got the footballing intelligence of a sheep's diaphragm. Right, let's go. Arsenal, Emile Smith Rowe. Look, Emile Smith Rowe is a very good player, right? I mean, he's 21 and has already banged in 18 goals for Arsenal. Yes, he looks like someone who in another life would be a lazy sociology student, spending 13 hours a day eating chicken wedges on the couch. But for Arsenal, he's been a revelation. And the thing, this time last summer, Dean Smith was actually trying to buy him for Aston Villa. I think Smith Rowe would have sooner eaten a bag of dead rats than agreed to move to Birmingham. But I'm sorry lads, this season, we're about to witness a drop-off. Simply put, he's been squeezed out of the limelight. I mean, when he was on his holidays down the beach and saw on his phone that Fabio Vieira was signing in a £40 million deal, oh, he must have felt like smearing sand in his eye. Smith Rowe is going to be the forgotten man by Halloween. He won't be able to get in the team. His confidence will drop. He'll miss out on the Qatar World Cup and will probably resent Mikel Arteta for it. I mean, to the point where we'll probably be spending this Christmas watching Game of Thrones on his couch and actively daydreaming while burning his boss on a stick. I'm gonna call it frustrating bit part player this season. He won't register more than 5 Premier League goals all year. Just a bit meh. Aston Villa, Philippe Coutinho. This is the year where Philippe Coutinho is officially done. I'm sorry, but this man, he's just another James Rodriguez. So yeah, like Coutinho, when he moved to a mid-table club like Everton, he initially lit the place up for 6 months as a big fish in a small pond, before petering out, proceeding to then show the work rate of Barney Gumble at the gym. And now look at him, trapped on a beach in Qatar, stuffing his face with hamburgers and fending off job offers from Brazil. Coutinho was signed for Villa on a permanent £17 million basis, but lads, does he really have the hunger to fight for a team with Callum Chambers at the back? I mean, there's a man forced to watch his old team Liverpool gun for the title, while his job description is just trying to climb into the league's top 10. Also, from last spring, there were clues that Steven Gerrard doesn't actually trust this guy to dig in and scrap. I mean, why else do you think he was left on the bench for both games against Burnley? Clearly, Stevie G has the same level of trust in him as I do anybody who drives an ice cream van. I mean, come on, we all know what you're up to in there. Coutinho is going to have the presence of an empty crisp pack in the midfield this season. He's going to be outshunned by Emre Buendia. And next summer, he's going to be quitting Europe for the Middle East, or maybe replacing Gareth Bale at LAFC. Honestly, do not stick this man in your fantasy league team. It's about as clever as trying to French kiss a plugged-in toaster. Bowen or Dominic Solanke? Well, this doesn't take a genius. Dominic Solanke is a championship goal machine. 30 goals last season for Bournemouth, great, and factor in the fact that this is a man who spent a combined 15 years of his life on the books at Chelsea and Liverpool, and you'd assume Bournemouth had unearthed a gem, right? Yeah, no, this man is the next Adam Armstrong. Prolific in the second tier, but looks like a big bag of horse silage in the top flight. I just know Scott Parker is going to fall for it and continue to trust this man in the Premier League. But Bournemouth had already picked Solanke in this division before, nearly 40 times. Only got 3 goals in return. You would think Park would have learned his lesson from Alexander Mitrovic at Fulham. But no, I just know he's going to pick Solanke every week, and in return, he's going to feel like ripping out chunks of his own hair. Honestly, Solanke will score 2 goals all season, and by Christmas, Parker will be bald. Brentford Ivan Toney. Second season syndrome, isn't it? Ivan Toney looks the part, and he is a good player. But this time out, with Christian Eriksen leaving the club, he'll be starved of service and register about 3 goals from open play, alongside 3 penalties. 6 goals all season? Not great. Brighton, Adam Lallana. Adam Lallana is done. I'm sorry, but he is. I mean, this isn't me showing some sort of prediction genius. No, he's 34 years of age. But he had a great start to last season, playing nearly every minute of the first 12 games, and he's only on the losing side 3 times. That was brilliant evergreen Lallana form. But since mid-January, he started just twice, and by spring was essentially just a large hair gel splat on the bench. So this season, Lallana will barely play, and when he does, he will look so far off the pace, like that wheezing penguin of Toy Story 2. I mean, this is Lallana's last season in the Premier League before he gets tossed away to Portsmouth. I mean, his Saints' legacy's already in a ditch, so why not? Chelsea treble Chalobah. Oh, this is just mean. We saw what finally breaking into the Chelsea first team meant for Chalobah last season. Christ above, this man was literally tearing his scrotum apart in the cup final. I mean, what a season it was. And yet still commentators kept calling him Trevor. I guarantee you, they must all think their team sheets have a typo. No, that really is a H. not an R. Please pronounce his name right, because you all just sound like you've got brains made of shredded pizza. But lad, Chelsea have a defensive hole in their team right now, and suddenly Chalobah has to hold down the fort on his own. You know, like a 12-year-old babysitter. This is the season he gets exposed. He's inexperienced, it's too much responsibility too soon. He'll make some absolutely horrendous errors, have his life ripped apart a match of the day, lose confidence, and honestly by January he's going to be tossed away to someone like Burnley. Honestly, he's in for a rough year. Crystal Palace, Tyreek Mitchell. Tyreek Mitchell wants to get himself on the plane for the World Cup with England, right? Yeah, as a result, we're about to witness someone chuck the simple basics out of his game as he tries too hard to get Gareth Southgate's eye. Honestly, yes, Mitchell has been a brilliant, steady left back for Patrick Vieira. But lads, all this England attention is going to barbecue his brain to the point where he's now probably waking up 3 times a night, sneezing blood on his feet. I mean, there'll be games when he loses concentration and tries to beat 3 players in a row before losing the ball on the halfway line, and there'll even be times where nice guy Paddy feels like smacking his left back in the face with a shoe. Everton, Dominic Calvert-Lewin. This is the season where Dominic Calvert-Lewin's career officially dies. People made allowances for last season, right? Yes, 5 goals in 18 games looks absolute wet dog food, but I mean, he was injured, right? And netted 21 goals the season before. So clearly there is a deadly centre forward in there, right? Lads, it takes a while for people to forget how good these strikers can be. I mean, Christ, it took me until 2019 to finally accept and realise that Christian Bentancur goal machine at Aston Villa was dead and not coming back. I refuse to believe that Newcastle version of Andy Carroll was gone until 2017. But 2023 is going to be the year that we finally let go of DCL. I mean, this man will be so rusty, you'd swear he was that tin creep of Wizard of Oz. 5 goals, no more than that. Trust me, he is done. Next summer, he's going to get a move to Burnley. He is done. Fulham, Alexander Mitrovic. Do I really need to elaborate? Alexander Mitrovic is an absolute championship goal machine, yes, but lads, winning the championship golden boot, it means nothing. When was the last time someone won that award? And then went on to have a top class career for massive clubs in Europe. And don't you dare say Ricky Lambert. I mean, the last one was Louis Saha for Fulham in 2001, and Mitrovic is no Louis Saha. If Marco Silva was clever, he'd be ignoring the lower league form and just going out to buy a proven Premier League striker, not someone whose total last time was 3. Honestly, in the Premier League, Divock Origi would score more goals for Fulham. Trust me, Mitro's going to have the elite grace of Snorlax, maybe score about 7 Premier League goals, and that is it. Leeds, Patrick Bamford. Can I scrape this man off my foot yet? He is done. Utterly done. 100% Fiddler on the Roof done. This man needs to kiss Jesse Marsh in the face. Maybe send a love letter to Burnley FC. Because if Leeds had wound up in the Championship, we would have never seen this man in Match of the Day ever again. He'd have been flushed out of the league like a discarded Beanie Baby, just tossed away onto a pile of garbage. This man is a one-season Premier League wonder, and he's since gone on to prove that he's got the fitness of a broken fridge. I mean, this is what you get for calling my foot rotten. I think that was the word, wasn't it, Paddy? Honestly, this will be his last ever season in the Premier League, and he won't get more than 3 goals. Liverpool, Jordan Henderson. Okay, who can I find for Liverpool is going to have a bad season? None of them ever do. I mean, Christ love, if I dare to utter the name Luis Diaz, I'd have angry Scousers ready to throw their mother's tampons at me in the street. I'm going with Jordan Henderson. I think this will be a pretty rubbish season by his high standards. But I mean, is that a shock? He's 32. Listen, I realise Steven Gerrard was still fantastic at 32, but he was a much better player. I reckon there'll be a few games where Hendo will look off the pace. He'll be phased out of the starting 11 by Christmas. It's nothing too dramatic, but yeah, if I have to choose one, it's him. Man City, Riyad Mahrez. Lads, people don't realise, but Riyad Mahrez, he scored 24 goals last season. Those are sickening numbers, and the perfect way to shove Jack Grealish's price tag back down his throat. But this guy who's about to be offered a new fat contract next month. Big mistake when he's 31. I just have a feeling that his contract security, effectively financially sewing up his 30s, will cause a subconscious shift into laziness. It wouldn't surprise me if he spends this September shoveling Big Macs down his throat. I think it's going to be a drop-off. Maybe 5 league goals and 5 goals in other competitions. Well, I mean, watching him next season, it'll be like watching Ricardo Quaresma at Soccer Aid. All the tricks and flicks are in there, but he'll now have the end product of a shoe. Sorry, Riyad. Man United, Bruno Fernandes. Alright, calm down, Man United fans. Go on then, tell me I've got the ball knowledge of a puncture balloon. I realise picking Bruno Fernandes in this list makes me look like I spent the weekend shoving baby food up my nose. Right? Lads, I just don't think Bruno Fernandes is going to have a good season. Sure, he's been given a fat new contract, but honestly, I don't see him doing much in Erik ten Hag's system. This man is already skating on thin ice with Man United fans after last season, where clearly Ronaldo's presence forced this guy to look like a nervous schoolboy with imposter syndrome, fluffing penalties and screaming at the ref. I reckon by Halloween, Bruno is going to be publicly dropped to the bench. A bit like how Jose Mourinho tossed Paul Pogba out of his team in late 2018. This is going to be the big power play from Erik. Bruno will go to the bench and be replaced by Donny van de Beek playing in a number 10 role. I mean, DVDB in attacking midfield is what got Ten Hag to a Champions League semi-final. So yeah, honestly, Bruno is going to have a horrific season. I mean, if you stick him in your fantasy league team next month, just no. I mean, wipe your mouth on a hamster's arse. Just anything. Just not that. Newcastle, Fabian Schar. This is a new look Newcastle team, right? Listen, Fabian Schar was utterly brilliant for Eddie Howe last season, but he's not gonna play much. They've just signed Sven Botman from Lille for £37 million. He is a ball-playing centre half, meaning that Schar is gonna be tossed in the broom cupboard under the stairs. He'll play some cup games, but there's a guy who could have moved for free this summer, and probably to a club like AC Milan, where he'd be given a fat signing on fee. So the fact he's been tricked into signing a new deal to come and sit on the bench, his motivation will be gone. He'll look poor when he does play. Sorry, but it's true. Nottingham Forest, Lewis grab him. He's a Premier League disaster. We've already seen this. Just ask Bournemouth fans. In the top flight, you might as well chuck a homeless man into a pair of football boots. I'm calling it. This man will score one Premier League goal all season before being dumped in January, probably loaned back to Sunderland, where the fans probably still feel like strangling him in the bath. But honestly, he'll be a nightmare. Southampton, Tino Livramento. Last autumn, Tino Livramento was an immense right back for Southampton, right? And at just 18 years of age. And then he had his injuries. I don't know. I reckon it'll be a pretty anonymous follow-up season for the guy. I mean, last winter, he was linked with a big mega money move to Everton. But now, his career will probably be placed in the same anticlimactic cell reserved for the guy who played Neville Longbottom. It's just all a bit meh. Tottenham, Rodrigo Bentancur. Rodrigo Bentancur was brilliant in Tottenham's midfield last season. Absolutely no questioning that. I just think we're about to see a small drop-off. Just a bit of a decline. I mean, don't forget, Pierre-Emile Højbjerg looked immense when he first joined Spurs too. But now, Tottenham fans get about as excited to see him as they would a birthday cake made of poo. I reckon he'll be okay. It'll be a decent season, but not as good as the first. West Ham, Jarrod Bowen. Last season was a spectacular campaign for Jarrod Bowen. 18 goals from the wing is immense. He won't be as good this time out. All I see when I look at Bowen is the modern day Craig Bellamy. I mean, a nicer Craig Bellamy. Someone who probably helps old ladies across the street. I mean, with Bellamy, I'm not sure, but he looks like someone, if you cut in front of him to buy the last Keisha Nazda, he'd probably nut you in the teeth. Bowen will have another good season for West Ham, but I mean, the numbers won't be there. He'll score 10 goals in all comps. That's about it, really. Wolves, Hwang Hee-chan. We are staring headfirst at another one-season wonder. Hwang Hee-chan was an electrical live wire on the wing for Wolves last season and chipped in with 5 goals. I mean, people were stuffing him in their fantasy league teams. Here's my prediction. This guy will not score a single goal in the Premier League this season. Not one single goal. I mean, every time Hwang Hee-chan scores in the league, I will eat an entire box of Rice Krispies live on camera. And that sounds like it would be hard to digest. Anyway, that's what do you think? Let me know in the comments below what player is going to underwhelm you this season. Let me know in the comments. If you enjoyed the video, don't forget to subscribe as always. I'll talk to you in a while.